Hey guys, I hope you all had fun testing out the latest changes for your favorite character in Street Fighter V Arcade Edition's balance patch that launched yesterday. But now that we have a decent grasp on all the patch notes and what's actually changed, I would like to address the elephant in the room, I suppose is the best way to say it. There's been a lot of talk about the buffs Cammy received, or the fact that she got buffs at all, despite much lower tier characters getting some nerfs, which was really surprising. So, I guess this really makes us all question a lot of these decisions on these balance patches, because going through these notes, it doesn't look like a lot of the characters that we barely see in tournaments, for example, are going to show up after this patch. It doesn't look like there's enough improvement, which is strange because we basically have communication issues because Capcom's not thoroughly explaining what their goal is for the patch of every single character. There is a short summary, but it's just not enough. Now, I'm going to show you guys some of the Cammy buffs, and you guys can make your own, opinions, of course. But me personally, my beef with this is just the way that they're, balancing her compared to other characters. And of course, I'll give some examples, especially the lower tier characters. I'm not trying to bash Cammy, of course, but she's just a perfect example of this in contrast of looking at the other characters' notes, especially with what happened with Rashid, man. So, I guess I'll start off by saying many top players consider Cammy to be a consistently strong character since the game's launch, right from the beginning. And now she's even stronger since she fits the Season 3 meta, perfectly, and does well against the other popular top-tier characters right now, such as Guile and Minot. And with the recent nerf to Abigail, that helps her just that much more because Cammy players, didn't want to run into Abigail. So let me go through this. Now, I'm not going to list every single change in super detail. This is not like a Cammy patch breakdown, but first off, they raised her stun value from 900 to 950. I don't think anyone really asked for this, but it's still a buff nonetheless. It's just like something just strange that they added in. So Cammy is just more resistant to being stunned because she is a low health character, and it'll just help her survive, give her maybe one more chance before she's dizzy. They also raised the damage on her throws. Now, of course, this is an indirect buff because universally, all the casters got their throws buffed, but Cammy especially likes it when you raise the damage of her throws. And now, the next change, now this is like the first big one I'd say, is the light cannon spike, her uppercut, the light version, is now invincible to air attacks from frames 1 to 6. So let's rewind a bit here. Basically, we had the universal DP changes where the medium version was the anti-air version across all the characters. And because of this, Cammy kind of got indirectly nerfed because ideally she would like to use the light version of her DP because it goes basically vertical, straight up. And because of that, she can stop cross-ups, and it's just more reliable, whereas the medium kick version sometimes will go underneath the opponent, right? So, to compensate this, Capcom gave her her air throw, which was like a meme, but she has an air throw nonetheless. And I don't think Cammy players really care too much, because her back medium punch, the lift upper, is one of the best anti-airs in the game. It might even be the best right now, after that Buri change. But it's super fast, it's got a great vertical hitbox, and it doesn't stop cross-ups. But it's so fast that you can hit the opponent before they try to cross you up. And she's got the air throw. Now, she has an option to auto-correct to stop the cross-ups. She still maintains her back medium punch, and she still has the air throw. So, not only is her offense really good, her defense is also very good. So this is a great buff to her. And it's strange because she's the only one that got it. They compensated her for this. Whereas other characters that got indirect nerfs from things, they didn't compensate them. Now, Cammy also got a big buff to her V-Trigger too. It's now 2 bars from a 3-bar V-Trigger, and this helps her because she's a low health character, and she can now cancel her jump, the V-Trigger 2, from her back medium punch, so basically from her anti-airs, to create more setup situations, which is great. And they also increased the damage of the overhead follow-up, the double kick attack, and made it safer on block. Now, this is great. We definitely want more players using the V-Trigger 2s. We don't want one dominant V-Trigger. But the problem that I have with this is that for Cammy, they really buffed her V-Trigger 2 to make it, tempting to use it. But a character like Ryu, the way they made it tempting to use his V-Trigger 2 is they nerfed his V-Trigger 1. I mean, if you look at Ryu's patch notes, his V-Trigger 1 got seriously nerfed, I think. Even though they raised the timer, his DP's draining bar is just huge. And they gave him all these new combos, but now you can only do one, and then most of your V gauge is just completely drained from it. And it just doesn't make any sense. And it's like they did that just to make you want to use his V-Trigger too. I mean, they buffed some of it as well, but as you guys are going to know right now, this is a problem because with Cammy, not only did they not nerf her V-Trigger 1 to make you use her V-Trigger 2, they buffed her V-Trigger 1 to compensate. They buffed it. So what Capcom changed is they allowed Cammy's V-Trigger 1 Cannon Spike, that's her uppercut, the one that goes up, can now be cancelled into her Cannon Strike, the one that goes downwards. So this is a huge buff. I mean, this gives her another really good anti-air option that converts into a lot of damage. You can even go into Super still with this. This also gives her better V-trigger conversions, so sometimes she has certain conversions like standing medium kick into uppercut, she can now get damage off this, but more importantly, this gives her much better Oki options because you're plus on the way down. There's already people coming up with fuzzy guard setups and such. So like before with Cammy now, is that most of the time Cammy players would just convert into the spiral arrow V-trigger and then knock them down and they get better Oki off it, but they don't get much damage from this. But now you can get both damage and Oki off the V-Trigger 1. So this is real. I don't think Cammy players are going to use V-Trigger 2 anytime soon because this is so good with the stuff that they've figured out so far. Now going back to Ryu, of course, this blows my mind because Ryu has like one of the worst V-Triggers in the game and they nerfed it. And it's been one of the worst V-Triggers since the beginning. Even when Ryu was at his highest point, it was one of the worst. But Cammy, she has one of the best V-Triggers in the game and they buffed it. So it just blows my mind. It's just strange. Especially when you look at the Rashid nerfs, I mean, how hard they went on that character. And then Cammy getting away scot-free, which was being consistent across a lot of patches, is just really strange. Now, of course, Cammy did receive a nerf. I'm going to mention that. Don't worry, guys. I guess I should mention that Cammy has amazing light attack block strings with very little pushback, allowing really good tick throw and shimmy situations, which she can hit confirm easily into her spiral arrow bread and butter combos that lead into the same situation all over again. Kind of like a mini vortex, I suppose. Now Capcom realized this and started nerfing it. So this is what they did. In Arcade Edition, so not this patch, but the patch before, when Arcade Edition launched, Cammy's crouching light kick received increased pushback on hit and block. So she technically lost this block string, her meaty standing light kick to crouching light kick to crouching light punch. Now it still works on certain crouchers such as like Akuma or Nakali, but it's inconsistent across the other characters because of this nerf. Now because of this, the next best thing that Cammy players did was a meaty crouching light punch to a crouching light kick to a standing light punch, because crouching light punch is +2 on hit, and if you get a counter hit you can go into like a medium, for example, and it was just the next best thing. Now in this April patch, the one we received just now, they increased the pushback on crouching light kick again, a second time, but this is only on hit. So now she lost that string again, the crouching light punch, crouching light kick, standing light punch, and so if they block the first hit of this, it makes it inconsistent as well, it will just completely whiff. So Capcom has been successful so far on nerfing these block strings, but there's still like another good string which still exists for Cammy, which is standing light kick, crouching light kick, standing light punch. The only reason Cammy players didn't use this was because the crouching light kick didn't link if it wasn't a counter hit. And the hard kick spiral arrow, sometimes it only did one hit, doing less damage, but Cammy players can just compensate this by doing the medium kick spiral arrow, maintaining the Oki, and still getting great damage. So Cammy still has very like strong light attack block strings to this day, that's my point. You can even still go standing light kick, crouching light punch, standing light punch, but you're giving up the low attack. So she's still really, really threatening. And, we have fast-moving characters like Rashid or Vega that have had their light attacks nerfed for the same reasons they're trying to nerf Cammy's. And now with the V reversals being 17-frame startup, I mean, Cammy can easily throw you out when she does this. So I guess the point of this video is I just want more clarity on what Capcom's trying to accomplish. I mean, they could buff Cammy all they want, but I'm just curious on why the weaker characters are being nerfed. That's what I want to know, because is Capcom's goal trying to get more diversity of characters in tournaments? Because I don't think that's going to happen. Unless they're looking at like the online win percentages and they're like, hey, Ryu, there's a lot of Ryu players from bronze to gold and maybe he's fine. But that's strange, right? And another thing, I think there's some kind of communication issue as well, because a character like Ken, for example, we thought he lost his throw loops in Arcade Edition, but because they buffed his movement speed, he still had his throw loops. So Capcom made a mistake. And then now they nerfed his throw to make sure that throw loop is now gone. But it's kind of like two people are working on two different things in the balance patch team, and they're not communicating with each other, and then they made a mistake. You guys understand what I'm saying? So it's really, really strange. I would like some more clarity on this. So let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below. Trying to keep it civil if we can. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and of course like the video. It really helps out. And yeah, we'll do some more videos like this in the future as I read these notes more thoroughly. So till then, guys, take care.